So welcome here to Nation News, and today we have two special guests, but of course every guest that we have is special. And these guests here are from Trident Production, is a talent agency, and if you've been attuned to any of the Caribbean Premier League games, you would have noticed the ever-present ever-smiling faces of the dancers, who any single time there's a 4, a 6, a wicket, any exciting turn of events in the game, they jump on the podium and they wave their pom-poms in the air and they dance, and that one here would be Cristanna. And of course the talent agent and the owner of Trident will be Shari. So this is something where from any single time that I would have tuned into CPL, I've always noticed, these dancers are always dancing, they're doing their thing, and they always look so happy doing it. But you were part of the one who started this in the first place. So could you tell us how Trident came about?
Well, Trident...
I'll give you this mic to hold.
Thank you so much for giving me this mic to hold. Trident started roughly about 10 years ago. It was a brainchild of myself, one of my former dance colleagues that's now back and forth from overseas, Justin Pullian, and eventually we also added Kevin Small, who is a well-known face in the cultural industry as he's a designer. But Trident, when it started, was just some very young, excited dancers wanting to branch out into choreography, wanted to be on the stage, wanted to touch anything that was in the face of the audience. And we started mainly first doing what most dancers who want to be seen in the industry do, is just back up artists. So we backed many. We've backed King Bubba, we've backed Edwin, we've backed Biggie Avery, we've backed TC, we've backed Justy, we've backed Ian Webster, Skrilla, we've backed some of the international artists that came down. We've gone through a lot of them, and then there was an arm of my company. We started as Trident Productions, but then we started to try to differentiate the different things we were. We were Trident dancers, and then we also had a cheerleading arm, which was Trident Elite. So then we were very big on doing cheerleading. When I say cheerleading, I mean proper cheerleading, stunts and everything, tosses. That's what we did. So then we started getting used by the Ministry of Youth and the Ministry of Sport, and we were doing some opening ceremonies. So we did the World Women's Boxing Championships that was held, I think, back in 2010, and we did the opening ceremony for that. We did the opening ceremony for Crifta Swimming, where we incorporated dance, we incorporated cheerleading, and then back then it was also synchronized swimmer. So then we did a toss into the water, and we did some synchronized swimming in the middle of that opening. So there was a lot that we were doing to try to change the face or make ourselves stand out, be a little more unique, kind of differentiate, so that you get called for jobs and gigs and you get to do different things. So between that and the dancing and the cheerleading and all the opening ceremonies and stuff, one of the things that we started to see a lot more of, and around that time CPL was happening, we were seeing the first CPL, and there were these cheerleaders on the podiums, and we were like, yeah, eventually we want to be there too. So we would have seen some of the cheerleaders up there, but in the first couple iterations of CPL, you would have found that the cheerleaders they felt to me more like models. They were very pretty girls that were smiling, but I felt as though the execution of the dancing wasn't what I would want when I want to be entertained. It's part of sport and entertainment. It's just as important to me as a cricketer, sometimes more entertaining than the cricket. So I always wanted to know, how can I make that element a little more exciting? And yeah, I was given the opportunity to do, back then they used to have the Super 50s, which was not CPL, it was a Cricket West Indies initiative where you were having the regional championships, and they allowed us, or that's where we got our first taste of actually getting to do the cheerleaders, because they wanted something like what CPL was able to do, but they wanted it on a lower scale. So at that point there was another company doing CPL, and then they wanted a lower scale. So I was like, hey, well, we can try it out and we can do it. And we did it. And from that, we got the opportunity to send in a proposal to do CPL. And the year we sent in the proposal, we got the opportunity, and we've never stopped since. So
I was saying, like, the transference of microphone signifies the transference of power. This is,
it signifies I talk too much.
No. It's just like, it's like when Thor gets his hammer back.
In cheerleader, and they pass the spirit stick. So
Yeah.
put the spirit stick on.
So the spirit stick makes me the dancer now.
The dance captain.
The dance captain. All right. So I'm going to drop my rhythm in this as a captain. So you've been in operation for 10 years. Roughly 10 years, but it's like the 5 years that you've been most active, you said. And CPL has been a large part of that.
Yes. So we've been active outside of that, but I think CPL definitely gave us the most of the visibility, where besides being on stage, you were actually like the featured act, whereas before a lot of it would have been behind the scenes because you're kind of behind the artist. So even though people recognize you or see you, or you have just as much talent there, you're not the main feature because the artist is the feature. So I think it was the first time where the dancers were really allowed to shine in their own right.
So how did it feel to be the main feature of the game?
It's a very exciting experience. My first time doing it was in 2018, and I was so nervous. I was super nervous. But I always, put myself in the frame of mind that, this is another opportunity. I get to do something that I love to do on a big scale, so just go out there and do your best.
So as a talent agency, you guys also scout talent. So how did you come across this talent that we have here?
So Cristanna, I would have met Cristanna at one of our auditions. So every time we do CPL or anytime we do any of our cricketing performances, we actually start with a fresh audition. As most people think that because they may see some of the same faces, that those girls just get to come every single time. They have to audition fresh, like if I never saw them before, and every time, because that's how you get the best of the best. You always have to keep a fresh face up there, and you always want to make sure that somebody who may have been really hot last year, like life happens, so you don't know, their body changes, different things happen, and at the end of the day you still want to be able to make sure that they could keep up and do everything that's expected to make sure that the client is also represented in the best light. So every time we have auditions and the audition process happens, you get selected. What you'll find is the top dancers get selected to be the Royals cheerleaders, but what you'll realize is that once you do the games here, we do both the Royals and the away team. So everyone else rotates as the away team. So there's like an A team, and like not to call them a B team, but a B team that does the away team. And what I like to do is keep the Royals as the Royals, because the same way how you won't expect to see the players locally changing, you don't want to see that the cheerleaders for the Royals then another day cheerleading for the away team. So we keep the Royals as the Royals, and they're always the best of that crop for that season, and then we keep everyone else and they rotate as the aways, and basically that's how
You flip a coin to decide who's home, who's away?
once the top of the top, the creme de la creme are always the top, and we always do probably about 8 girls in that position, and then everyone else rotates as away. So once you have, because it's a combination of how they move, how they present, how they look, how their bodies look also, and then just performance element, like are they entertaining, how do they respond to the music, their responsive time, how do they even entertain and relate to the crowd. All of that goes into it, and it's not just about how they dance. So once they bring the full package, the best 8, and sometimes I also look at height plays a role in it, how the bodies complement each other, that sort of thing. And once those people are selected, I feel like I can rotate those, and I'm happy with any combination of those, and everybody else just gets piled into away.
So, I mean, that is an interesting system. It's like everybody has to kind of earn their place. Like, so how does it feel to have to fight for your meals all the time?
I go in with an open mind. I don't ever go in saying, well, I was here last year and I was here year before, so I'm definitely going to be here this time. I never do that. When I first started in 2018, like I said, I was on the away team, and I was determined to be a Royal, so I knew I had to put in the work for next time. And since then, I have been a Royal. like Shari said, everyone goes through that audition process, and it's very important as a dancer to be coachable. You need to see that every opportunity is an opportunity for growth, and fully immerse yourself in this space, you know. Be open to criticism. That is very, very, very important, and it's not coming from a place of malice. It's just from Shari wants the best. She wants the best for the agency, she wants the best for the client, and more so she wants the best for you as a dancer. So if Shari tells me you wasn't really doing it today, I'm not gonna take it to heart, because I know that she knows my potential, and I know that she wants the best for me. So I go into the audition, I put my best foot forward, I get my head in the game, take pointers from her, and
there you go.
It doesn't just stop at the audition, because after the audition, right?
Yeah.
When you make the audition doesn't mean you make the podium. So then there's like I would say about a month of boot camp.
Yeah.
That's all I would call it. Where we kind of like just train for every occasion that we think can happen.
So now we delved a little bit into the very competitive world. I was gonna say cutthroat, but let me not. Competitive world. And again, you can blink 3 times if it's Stockholm syndrome. You said you guys love each other, but I don't doubt it is very evident from every interaction we have. Like when it's not recorded, it's very clear that you love each other. But how did you first come into contact? Like, what was your first journey with Trident?
My first was at a CPR audition. Yes, my first was at a CPR audition, and I had no idea who Shari was. Someone told me about it, someone that was already in Trident production and did CPR before. They told me, come and do the audition. So I was like, well, what do I have to lose? So that's where I met Shari, and we didn't really used to interact a lot back then, but as the years went by, we just got closer.
So, were you always a dancer? Like,
Yes, I started dancing when I was 4 years old.
oh wow.
Yeah, I started dancing when I was 4. I started at Barbados Dance Theater, and I did modern and ballet. Yeah, but as I got older, I wanted to get more into the commercial side of things, so I just sought any opportunities that would allow me to do that.
So you have modern, ballet, commercial.
There are a lot of other types of that.
What's like the commercial, like?
What I want to say, what you would see, it's what it sounds like, what you would see being televised, what is popular.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of subsections or divisions. So soca, bashment soca, Afrobeat, hip hop, dancehall.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could still be even
contemporary
contemporary, ballet, all
yeah.
of that, whatever is needed for. So when you say commercial, you just think of performance.
Yeah.
So a music video might still call for something that's very technical and contemporary or ballet-like, but commercial just speaks to anything that is seen on a stage or on film. Film and dance is very popular now. So anything that's being televised, of course, the TikTok revolution. So dance is everywhere now. So anything that is sellable, I would say,
for
can
an audience
fall into the area of commercial.
So I would say similarly. What was your first impression of our talent here when you first saw her?
So, like she said that she didn't know who I was. I had no idea who Cristanna was. Age gap, of course, and then there was Cristanna, there was Asha. Asha's pretty well known with, she dances with Damon. And I just saw them and I was like, who are these girls? And I saw that like 3 times, like, who are these girls? Because once you're in the dance scene, you kind of feel like, the usual suspects, these players. And I was like, these people came up to nowhere and I don't know who they are. And they are giving and eating. They're like doing everything and more. and I think I was very impressed with. It's not even about technique. Like I said, their presence and their performance elements were very, 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 very strong. So that's what I remember about them. I can remember their first audition, and they just stood out. And I was like, who are these girls? So yeah, she made a very good impression the first time I saw her.
Yeah.
And she's been very consistent. So at first, Cristanna and some of the girls are very stuck into the genres that they're comfortable with, but she's definitely growing because we don't just do this. So there are other things that we do. A lot of other clients that we have that might cause for us to explore other genres, and I've gotten her to do folk and ballet, and she's going to tell me she's not a contemporary dancer, but she's very good. So yeah, just taking them and like pushing them to the extremes of their talent is really, 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 really important to me.
So you started with I believe like 15 dancers when you first, and now you have about 60 dancers. Yeah.
So it's not just, as I mentioned, it's a talent agency. So we have dancers, which are the dancers that train as dancers. So I keep them in groups. So there's a Trident core group, which is mainly the dancers. There's Trident cheerleaders, which I separate from the dancers, which are people that just do our particular cheerleading work. And that may also extend to like promotional gigs that will be for like some corporate clients that may want like dancers to help sell their product or anything like that. So there's those elements that I keep there, and then we also do just plain old promo, which would be they're beautiful dancers but not really trained dancers, like Akiba, who she does a lot of costumes. She can move to the rhythm and music and stuff. Like she's an entertainer, but she's not a technical dancer. So if there is something where there doesn't need to be necessarily set choreography but good movement, like I can throw her in that. Whereas when you know that is something that it calls for like an actual dance routine that is technical, then I will then push that towards my technical dancers, etc. So the pool is like 60 something people.
How do you scout to get all these more people?
How do you like every opportunity? I would say is a scouting opportunity. So I'll take a step back. When I was here doing it, like I said, a little background dance and stuff, but I actually left Barbados, went and did my master's in entertainment business. And when I was there, I worked with a company who used to scout international acts for Disney and SeaWorld. So I kind of got my feet wet with, there's more to this space than just taking a dancer and that. Like you can really allow persons to live, because I was very passionate about the fact that I didn't want to work or have a business in an industry that was not self-sustainable. And how do I help to contribute to making it a sustainable something beyond a passion? It's great to have a passion and do something. I hope it makes money. There's another way to look at it where you kind of know like this is the path you have to take if you want to continue to create opportunities and work for these people that come under your company, because you're not a company if you don't have work and jobs. You're not going to be able to keep the dancers. You're not going to keep a pool of 60 something people if there's nothing for them to do. So just opening my eyes a bit more and looking at like film is a big thing that I'm passionate about too. So I push some of these girls. I always say dancers are the best models. A model could just walk, but you could take any of these girls and put them in enough makeup and thing and they look just as good as a model. But they also know how to use their face. They know how to sell things. They know how to perform. So they have elements, like dance is very close to acting. So there are so many elements in that performance realm that they already have that makes them better promoters, sometimes better models, better all sorts of things. So the client gets a little bit more than they sometimes have bargained for. And that's where I've found my sweet spot, and that's where I keep capitalizing on, like just trying to find the next thing, or where there's like a little niche or there's something that's not being touched on, just being a little different than everybody else. There's no fun to be.
What's your next thing going on where I'll be able to see very talented dancers?
So right now we've been doing a Jack Daniels promotion. So that's a little more low-key, but it's around a lot of bars around Barbados. We've been going around and promoting Jack on his birthday during the month of September, and it's actually going into October. But we take a step back from, because the entertainment industry is very seasonal. So you get a lot of work in crop over. You get a lot of work sometimes in independence. You get seasonal work in Christmas. Sometimes you get a little Valentine's something, but besides that, there are big gaps. Cricket season has become a season as well, so you throw in the cricket season. Don't know if we'll be doing anything for England versus West Indies, but that's the next game that I know that's happening. Outside of that, then it's just more than looking at our corporate clients and looking at the film industry. So there's a lot of films that happen here, especially when it's winter season overseas. People come down here to film, and I've been pushing these people into being extras.
Everything.
So they get to be extras. And again, when I say talent agency, a talent agency can't just be dancers. So we deal with dancers, singers, drummers, anybody, actors, whatever is needed for the job. We're able to create and curate and create that for the client. So it's all about creating the perfect entertainment package, and the next thing, you never know.
I think that is beautiful. I myself have to retrain myself from saying dancers is your talents, because there's so many more much that you do. This has been like amazing. Thank you for letting us know all about what goes on with Trident, the different things that you're doing. Thank you for letting us know the Stockholm syndrome you operate with.
I'm
no,
fine,
but truly, no,
I'm fine.
it's great for.
I actually love it here, guys.
But thank you for us just letting us know what it goes down. A peek into what happens when we see all these dancers go on the podium and celebrate with everybody else. The fantastic game that we enjoyed, but just all the different things that go on as well. So thank you very much for being a part of this. Yes, and I will try to be there at the next. Yeah, we'll try to be there at the next. The very next thing that you guys have going on. I'm not much of a Jack Daniels drinker, but I will try to find a reason to get there. I'll get the acquired taste. But of course, thank you for watching with us at Nation News, and a lot more of these amazing interviews always on this channel with special guests. But of course, every guest we have is always special.
Special as us, I'm sorry.
Oh well.